Hi, Glogang, and welcome to a brand new episode of GloTalks, where we talk about art, spirituality, and life lessons. I'm your host, Gloria Mwange, and on this episode, I am the guest again. And as for today, the way how I wanted to close out my season is by preaching to the crowd a little bit. There are so many stories in the Bible that talk about faith, but there's one specific story in the Bible. It's always sat with me and it's always made sense to me. And it is the story on Mark 5:25 and 34. It is the story of the woman with the issue of blood. Background context for those who do not know about the story of the woman with the issue of blood. She is a woman who was bleeding for almost 12 years. And within those 12 years, she sought help from all the physicians that she possibly could, and it was to no avail. She was never able to, get the healing that she needed, and her blood never stopped flowing for 12 years. Now imagine for 1 second, my ladies will understand. When you're bleeding for more than just 5 days, there is just a sense of like it just needs to stop. Now, this woman, her whole life for 12 years, 12 years, she went on bleeding, which means that she smelled. It means that she was just very unpure. And she was actually considered impure to a point where like she was even like kicked off from her entourage. Her community was even pushing her away. She was completely isolated for 12 years, and she just could not figure out what was going on. And each time that she went to go see a physician, they made it worse. So she never got the healing. And at some point, she was really defeated until she heard about Jesus Christ passing through the town or coming through the city. It was a big event. Everybody was gathered around and they just wanted to see who this Jesus person was, because he was such a big deal in different areas, in different provinces, different places, that when he came to town, it was like a celebrity, Imagine you're one of your favorite celebrities coming to the city. It was basically that. Like he just was there and everybody wanted to get a piece of him. Everybody wanted to touch him. Everybody wanted to just get a word from him. And this woman with the issue of blood had such faith within her, because she heard that Jesus Christ was the healer. She was like, okay, maybe this time, if I just go and if I just touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. And so said, so done. As Jesus Christ was walking through the crowd, the woman with the issue of blood was pushing her way through. Now, imagine she's pushing her way through the crowd with the smell. Now, people are like, ew, what are you doing? Like, disgusting. Get away from me. Where are you going? And she still kept pushing. She pushed to the crowd, and she was able to touch the hem of Jesus's garment. The moment she did that, her blood just stopped flowing. Like she was healed within that specific moment. And here is the part that I'm going to try not to cry and explain this, but here's the moment that really touches me whenever I hear this story, or even whenever I talk about it. Jesus Christ was standing in the crowd. Okay, imagine there's like more than 30,000 people around you trying to speak. It's loud. They're trying to touch you. It's hot. Okay, I'm sure it was really hot back then. And everybody's touching you. But the second the woman with the issue of blood went ahead and touched the hem of his garment, literally, Jesus Christ felt it. Like everything within him felt someone touch him. And the funny thing that he did was turn around and ask, who touched me? And of course, there's always going to be that one disciple within his entourage who's going to be very smart mouth and say, my Lord, of everybody in this crowd, everybody's touching you. What do you mean, who touched you? And Jesus Christ asked again, who touched me? And from that moment, the lady, the woman with the issue of blood, the second that she heard that, and she was trembling, she was scared, because she couldn't also understand like what just happened. She went ahead and just went up to Jesus and said, it was me, Lord. I'm the one who touched you. And Jesus looked at her and he said, woman, go. Your faith is what saved you. Your faith is what healed you. Now, you are probably wondering, like, okay, it's just a healing story. Like Jesus healed a lot of people in the Bible. Right. But this woman, she doesn't have a name. That's just one thing that always stands out to me within the story. She never had a name. She was just always referred to as the woman with the issue of blood. And here's where the correlation of the story of the woman with the issue of blood and my story kind of come together. For 12 years, this woman bled. For 12 years, this woman looked for healing. For 12 years, this woman seeked and seeked with no avail. When Glow Talks became a little seed planted within me, it was 12 years ago. This year of 2024, it was 12 years ago. It was exactly in 2012 that I officially said, one day I'm going to have a talk show. That was 12 years ago. And within those 12 years, when I mentioned that I wanted to do it, I didn't directly go into the solution. I strayed. When I say I went everywhere possible and it just never brought me healing. And I was actually actively looking for healing. I was actively looking for, God's face. I was actively looking, but everywhere I went, everywhere I turned to, he was never there. Everywhere I turned to, I still needed, it's almost as if like I needed to do something to be able to get the healing, whether it was alcohol, whether it was partying, whether it was, I went through every single place that I possibly could be able to find healing, and it was always temporary. Fast forward to 2024, when I said to myself, I need to actively look for God. I need to actively search for his face. I need to actively stop tapping into everything else, because at this point, the only thing that I have left, the only person that I have left to turn to is God, right? And so it came with a decision. The same way how the lady with the issue of blood made a decision through faith that she was just going to go and push and simply touch the hem of his garment, right? And this story just makes me so emotional and so happy, because what are the odds that 12 years later, Glow Talks become something tangible? What are the odds that 12 years later, I can honestly say that I have been the healthiest that I've been in 12 years? What are the odds that within the 12 years, I was able to accumulate knowledge left and right? Even though I did go to different places to go and find the healing that I'm looking for, but when I was there, I was able to accumulate one knowledge to another, to be able to convey these informations to you guys, or to be able to finally talk about this specific subject without feeling any shame, without feeling any guilt, without feeling any anxiety, or any type of like loss. I'm really glad that this story, I can be able to talk about this story, because there are so many things that season one was able to kind of teach me, right? And it was not just through experiences, it was also through people and through their stories as well. It is said that to be able to have it, you just need to have faith as small as a mustard seed, right? And my testimony today would be that Glow Talks really is genuinely just advancing because of faith. Had I not faith that I would actually find the healing to be able to finally be comfortable in front of cameras and just either talk, or simply just like have people who can be able to share their life stories as well, I don't know what else could have been. I do not know what else it could have been. I think that faith is really, really important throughout this whole journey. Faith is the most important thing. Oftentimes, I find myself just kind of sitting there like faithless, because I'm like, God, I don't know what else I'm going to do. I don't know how else I'm going to do this. I don't know how else I'm going to continue. And, it's one of those like you kind of sometimes even find yourself where you're like, there's nothing. I have nothing to give. But then you wake up the next day, because you had faith that, you know what, at the end of the day, if it happens, it happens. That little faith is what usually saved me. And because of that faith, ever since January started, I've been having a specific word. And for this specific month, the word was preparation. And God had to kind of drill this into my head this month because I am the kind of person who I love doing things last minute. I just love it. I love being able to kind of like, ruffle, stumble. I like being able to kind of sometimes just sit there and be like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then poof, something happens. And now we're going to do it. But this month specifically, God had to remind me the power behind preparation, the power behind actually learning something or just studying something before even releasing it. Even if I don't feel like it, to get up and, write something, do a little more research, actually actively learn the craft, actively learn what I'm doing. I noticed that a lot of people just go through the motion of life. And we all do. A lot of people actually don't know what they're doing. Most of people, we do not know what we're doing. We're just going through the motion. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, we try again or we change tactics. And that's what I've been able to learn throughout the first season of Glow Talks is that there's always going to be an inconvenience. There's always going to be something that happens. How you prepare for it is what is going to give you a better result. It's literally all in preparation. And it's amazing because it's only when I go through it that I'm like, oh, well, you know what? Lesson learned. We're not going to do this next time. We're going to change it this way. I'm able to find new tactics. And I'm really glad that this month the word is preparation because I used to always put all my eggs in one basket. And, as I'm walking with it or whatever, one cracks, everything cracks. And I find myself dumbfounded and confused. But now, because of preparation, I'm able to put my eggs in different baskets. And if one breaks, that's a lesson learned. But I have others. I have other plans. I have a plan B. I have a plan C where I can be able to kind of keep moving and learn as I'm going. And I've been so thankful because through preparation you need to also have some sort of faith that if plan A doesn't work, I have faith that plan B is going to work. And to continuously try, to continue going, to continue doing, to continue learning, to continue thinking. And I'm really really glad that I'm able to close out this season with this specific word because, like, man, it's been a ride. It's been a ride. And the fact that I'm learning as I'm going, I can only be so thankful for the team that I have. And I'm really excited for season 2 because I was able to learn not to put all my eggs in one basket. I know what to do for next season because I was able to learn, being on time. And I'm still learning that, by the way, still learning that. But because I'm learning how to be on time, it's like, okay, respect your time, respect other people's times as well. It's so cliche that a lot of people say, just follow your dreams. It's going to take you far. Just follow. And it's like, you don't know what following your dreams until you're actually actively in it. And you're like, whoa, what is this? What am I doing? And throughout the season, I can honestly say that one too many times I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's hard. Or like when there's a cancellation and I don't have a backup plan, again, because I did not prepare, it's like, oh, this is hard. But it's like, if you can just prepare for the season that you're in, there are people who prepare 4 months in advance. If you can just prepare 4 months in advance, the results are going to be beautiful. And I'm really glad because learning through that is what made me start writing things down, breaking down my episodes, breaking down my seasons. I absolutely loved season 1. I loved every bit of it. I loved the good, I loved the bad. Looking at it now from this perspective of faith, from this perspective of just reading the word of God each time and seeing the correlation between glow talks and what God says in the Bible. Do not fear, for I am with you. What he says in the Bible, we need to have faith as small as a mustard seed to be able to kind of see that there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow is always going to come. It's how you treat today that tells you what tomorrow is going to bring you. There is beauty in preparation, just like the story of Mordecai and Esther, where Esther had to tell Mordecai before she went and spoke to the king, to be able to free her people. had told Mordecai to go and tell everybody in the city to fast for 3 days. No food, no water, and just pray to God. And so that after the 3 days, that's when she will be able to speak to the king so that her people will not be persecuted. And so said, so done. So there is beauty within this journey. I've learned and I've realized that there is beauty in preparation, and there is beauty in knowing your craft. There's beauty in understanding and learning what you're doing. There is beauty in taking in the good and the bad. You know what I mean? Because how can anybody ever see that you're growing if you're not making any mistakes? So I'm really glad that I was able to go through season one with my team, and we did a good job. Like I just we did a fantastic job. And although there were trials and tribulations, we still made it. This last episode, I want to title it Faith as Small as a Mustard Seed. And I want us to, learn from the story of the woman with the issue of blood. This story is so profound and it's such a beautiful story that I figured, why not close out my season by sharing something that means a lot, a story that means a lot to me, that is, in the Bible. And to simply be, to thank everyone who has been able to tap into Glow Talks and has shared and liked and commented. And I just, let's start building a community for this one. Well, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of season 1, episode 6. And I hope that this season inspired you to glow, and I will see you on the next season. Bye. Let it glow, let it glow.